Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this preview of Fantasy General 2, which has very kindly been given to me by Slitherine. And I am really excited about this. Fantasy General 1 came out in 1996. I've been doing my research on this. No, 97. 97. Which is a year after Warcraft 2 and Heroes of Might and Magic 2. Like, this was absolutely a golden age of fantasy strategy games. And having waited 12 years now, Fantasy General 2 is finally here. It is still in development. I think it's due for release later this year. They did say that there was going to be another preview beta type thing in September. And I am limited in what I can show you. Unlike some previews that I've had in the past where they say, don't show this, don't show this, they've basically given me a third of the game with one faction. And that is who we're going to be playing as. And it is a pretty appropriate faction. We are playing as the Barbarians, who are basically Vikings. 300 years have passed since the Shadow Wars have ravaged Caledonia and the world of air, and the struggles of the past have long since faded into legends. In the highlands of Farek, clans of barbarian warriors have eked out a living in the harsh northern climate, constantly feuding with each other and raiding the wealthier borderland towns. Fed up with these raids, the borderland clans called on the Empire, a powerful realm controlling much of Caledonia. The Western Imperial Legion was dispatched to see off the Highland Raiders, and with the help of the Borderlands clan, Izael and Machnar destroyed High King Brendan's army in the Battle of Worms Pass. A treaty was signed that forbade any clan from crossing into the Borderlands in return for peace. Since then, there has been no High King to unite the clans, and they fell into quarrelling and raiding amongst themselves. In these dark times, your clan has been led by one Falir One-Eye, a warrior of great renown. You are his son and designated heir, and you are eager to prove your mettle to your father. Let's do this. New campaign. I have to say, the soundtrack for this game is really good, so do tell me if it's a bit loud, but I wanted it to be, like, hearable. And also, I just realised that the scrolling text there is huge. Let's just go and reduce that a little bit. Let's just have it under the minimap. It's going to be about that size. Okay, that's now really small. That'll do. Press any key to continue. The winter is near, son, and the harvest was poor this year. We need to get food for the clan to survive. Clan Donach has more than enough wealth to spare. This is a chance to prove your mettle. Raid their steads and bring home some good loot. Thank you for trusting me with this, father. Clan Donach won't even see me coming. I will raid them and return laughing at them, scratching their heads. I'll do my best for the clan and make you proud, I promise. I'm going to go with the latter. I know, son. This is why I trust you with this task. Take some younglings with you. They seem eager to prove themselves as you. Be quick, son. This is a raid, not a war party. And watch out for dire wolves. They're roaming the highlands again, all hunger and teeth. May the ancestors watch over you. Alright, and then this is the main combat map for Fantasy General 2. You will notice that this is a classic hex-based game, where the whole scenario, these are kind of divided into scenarios, are divided into hexes, but within each scenario is effectively something of a mini-campaign. We've got cities, you've got ruins, you've got roads, rivers, mountains, hills, and loads of other things going on. The mountains over here are impassable to everything except for flyers. Towns are mostly fortified. In the original Fantasy General, settlements could also be used to recruit soldiers. I don't know if that's still true for this. I have not seen that happen, but it might be. And then we have a set of soldiers. We begin with one Falison, who is the war leader. He's got a warhammer and he packs quite a punch. I've played the first 2 or 3 scenarios just to get an idea of what was going on here and so that I could actually explain what was happening as it was going. I suspect the tutorial is still going to be enabled, but I don't know 100% about that. We also have 2 units of younglings. We've got the Brotherhood of Ravens and Thorolf's Pack. Now you'll be very happy to hear that you can actually rename units once they hit level 3 or higher. So I will actually be able to name things after patrons and subscribers in this, which I'm rather excited about. And I'll probably try and keep the idea of like the Brotherhood of something or somebody or other's pack. And then we've also got linear spears, which are light spear infantry. They are... Does it not tell me what type of infantry they are? Maidens. They are maidens. These guys are younglings. The maidens are more defensive. They have spears and they have some armor, whereas the younglings just have a lot of troops and more hit points, but they are not very defensive, so they will take a bunch of damage. Another thing to point out, if I zoom in a little bit here, I hope you can see this, there are a bunch of dots above the banner. Those are the different squad members, so as your unit takes damage, that green bar will slowly turn red. Then any of those dots which become black is basically a member of the squad who has died, and that is damage that you can never heal, at least during this scenario. You can heal up the red damage just by resting, which takes a turn and will heal you back up to full strength. But you are somewhat limited in the number of turns you have. So you see up here in the top right, we have this 15 out of 15. This is the amount of loot present in this area. Every turn, that loot ticks down by 1. At the end of the match, the loot number here is multiplied by 25, and that is basically the cash that you get at the end of this, plus some for whatever you pick up during the battle. But the primary source of money does seem to be how quickly you can complete these scenarios. There is definitely a time factor. Whether this is just a barbarian mechanic or not, I don't know. But it definitely makes you move a little more hasty and doesn't allow you to just sit back and heal every 2 turns, which is something I would definitely be guilty of doing. Alright, so let's move Thoralf's pack forwards so that we can see what's going on. Another thing to mention is different terrain does have different advantages. So rough terrain increases your fortification damage reduction, so you basically take 25% less damage as far as I can tell. And forests reduce your missile damage by 33%. If you're out in the plains, you get no advantages, and then as I said, the mountains are impassable. Rivers decrease your attack by 25%, means you cannot charge, and defenders have 50% less armor. So that's not actually going to impact us very much, because we're not armored, with the exception of linear spears. The other thing I wanted to double check is how exactly does charge work? Attack with all skirmish and melee weapons, deal plus 100% melee damage as charge damage, requires action, consumes move. See, I don't know if this happens automatically. I think it does. If you move an attack, then it does a charge. But I don't know if that's true. Well, we're going to need to move forwards. In fact, I'm going to do this with Falison to just get an idea of what's ahead of us. So here we go. We've got a settlement with a unit of younglings belonging to Clan Donar, who are the ones that we're trying to kill. So we're going to move up into as best position as we can. We want to have as many troops present as possible. So let's move you here. You here. And then Thoralf, you can go into the rough terrain to give yourself a bit of a defense bonus if we need it. Then we're going to hit end turn. These guys did in fact attack. They attacked into the rough. Rough cancels charges, so they didn't do as much damage. And then they get hit in the back by a bunch of direwolves. Marvellous. Well, in that case, I'm going to move Falison up to here. I believe the more troops you have adjacent, the more damage you do. And in fact, Falison could kill this unit. Let's go ahead and do that. Boof. He's pretty strong. Then we've got Thoralf, who I'm going to do a charge attack against you. Oh, the forest breaks charges, so this isn't actually going to be as effective. And you'll see he took a bunch of damage, which is the red ones, and then one member of the squad died, who is that little black square. Unfortunately, I can't quite reach with the rest of my troops, but we can make it to the settlement, which I will do, and then we're going to start raiding the settlement. So this is definitely something unique to the barbarians. They can destroy settlements and get a bunch of money for it. So we're going to raid. And then linear spears are just going to move up. And over there to them. So unfortunately the wolves went after Thoralf's pack, which means another unit of Thoralf's pack just died. But we have done some more damage to the wolves. So I think we're going to finish them off with Falison, which hopefully gives him experience. Speaking of which, there are experience levels. I don't know what the maximum experience level is. Experience for killing a unit, you get 50. What's that? Okay, so there are a bunch of icons which I'm still kind of learning, like when I was hovering over the experience, no, over this, there's the little symbol here. I assume that's magic resistance? We don't have any mages, that's irrelevant. And then we're in the forest, which is giving us these bonuses. Ah, yes! Hiding. So you'll notice that we have the red icon here. That means that we have been revealed. If we'd moved into the forest, then snuck up through the forest without being detected when we moved into the forest, we would be stealthed and they wouldn't be able to see us at all. Anyway, Falison is going to go ahead and kill the direwolves. Biff. And there he goes. Now, we need to make a bit of a decision, because one of the settlements is up here, and one of the settlements is over here. Do we want to risk going through the woods with a dual-pronged assault? Like, this one was only guarded by one guy. So if I sent, like, Falison and Thorolf to go and attack this settlement, do we think that the Brotherhood of Ravens and Linear Spears are going to be able to defeat that settlement? And also, is there anything over here? We don't know. There might be some ruins or something that we could go and plunder. But I'm conscious of the time problem, so we're just going to go storming ahead. We're going to use the road because we do move a little bit further along the road. Still no sign of any enemies, so I think I'm going to send Thoralf's pack with the Brotherhood of Ravens, and then the Spears are going to go north of Falison. And I really should have rested Thoralf's pack. I may do that next turn. So you are just going to rest up, and then you are going to stand on this side. And now we can see that there are a group of younglings standing here. Not in the city itself, which is unfortunate. Oh, we could get to the city this turn. We're a level 1 unit. We're not going to lose very much experience. So here's another thing, which is what's making me hesitate about this, is at the end of the battle, your units, any units that have survived in any capacity, will refresh all of their lost recruits. However, every soldier that you need to replace will cost you experience. So you will level up more slowly if you've taken casualties. And we have taken a fair amount of damage. Like, all of these guys are hurt. But it is sorely tempting to go and steal that settlement. No, we're not going to do it. We're going to play that a little bit more cautiously. So Falison is going to move up to the plains. You're going to move up to here. Now, hopefully we can actually cross the river. We'll soon find out. So they've gone and attacked. They've gone into the river, which does reduce their attack and has meant that we can resist that damage far more effectively. Now, when we counterattack, we're going to do a boatload of damage. See all that yellow damage there? Because they're in the river and they've lost a bunch of their defenses. And that did automatically charge, so if they can charge, they will. Then we're going to move Thoralf's pack over to here. Risky, because now they can attack me in the river. In fact, I can finish you off. Never mind. And there we go. Dead. So, Linear Spears can continue advancing. Move you to here. And Falison to here. Then hopefully we can just cross across that. Next turn. So Thoralf's pack is going to go stand here and start raiding. You're going to start rushing over this way. Still no sign of any bad guys, and we can indeed cross, though it is a slow process. And now we're just going to hit them from multiple different angles, basically. They are going to come storming out and attack Falison while he's caught in the river. He's only one guy, so any damage he takes isn't a huge problem, so long as he doesn't die. We also seem to have looted some weapons. Oh, that was for the raiding. So weapons are useful, and this is one of my favourite things about this game, is every unit has an upgrade path, and in fact these two units are ready to upgrade. So if we click on the upgrade tree, we can see what they can become. So they start here as younglings. They can then be promoted to either axemen or slingers, and then after the slingers they can become new things, after the axemen they can become new things. And then these upgrade paths are somewhat dependent on what supplies you have. So we have weapons, so we could turn one of these younglings into slingers, for example, and then we would have our first ranged unit. And to that end, I think I'm going to promote you guys into slingers. So we just click on slingers. It's going to cost me 12 gold. We have 25 to spend. We can do this during the battle, and there we go. We now have a unit of slingers, which are going to move up to here. 1, 2. Slingers have a range of 2, so we're not quite in range. But that's alright, because slingers have another very useful ability. They have a thing called defensive fire. And that means that if I had, say, the Brotherhood of Ravens sitting here and the Brotherhood of Ravens got attacked, Thoralf's pack would then shoot at anyone attacking the guys that they're basically defending. Except I think it has to be an adjacent. So if we moved over to here, we wouldn't get that advantage. So first things first, we're going to move you out of the river and then have you biff them. Just like that. Perfect. I'm going to have the spears move up to here and you're going to biff them as well. Good. And then you could move up to here and you would then have a zone of control, meaning they can't bypass you to attack the slingers. I like this idea. It's going to put you into a bit of danger, but I'm okay with that. Oh, and you could attack. Oh, may as well. Okay, they're going to take less damage now. And then they have a group of maidens defending the fortification. So if they're smart, they'll stay there because they'll get a fortification bonus. And they have. Good. So we're going to move the slingers up to the rough terrain. The slingers have a special ability, which is plenty of ammo. Gains infinite defensive fire charges while on rough terrain. So as long as they're here, usually they can only do a defensive shot once. But if they're on rough terrain, then they can just keep on shooting at anyone around them that attacks one of their allies. The other thing which I just noticed is they're point blank. Deals plus 50% damage when attacking adjacent. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe we do want to go to here and then snipe them. And because they're slingers, they don't get an attack back. Then we're going to move Linear Spears to here, Brotherhood of Ravens to here, and Fallison to here. And now the real fun starts. These maidens are really showing how tough they are right now. I'm actually slightly tempted to not attack with Fallison just in case he takes more damage. Because he's getting quite low on health. They are disordered. What does that mean? Below 67% morale, a unit becomes disordered. Disordered reduces damage by 20%. Interesting. So there is a whole morale system which I haven't even looked at yet. Because morale, frankly, has not been a problem for me. Interesting to note the maidens have quite a lot. So 67 they become disordered, 34% they become broken, then 0 they become routed. Interesting. They are resting up. That is a big mistake because you suffer penalties when you're resting, don't you? Nope, they don't. But it also means that they don't attack me. So first of all, let's just shoot you. Then Linear Spears are going to move into here and start raiding. And Fallison is going to start racing down this road to get to the end point as soon as possible, although this might well be the end point. We've raided enough to last us the winter. Let's get home before the Donau warriors catch up with us. So we did this with 3 turns to spare. I don't think I could have done that much quicker. We've won this mission. So 3 turns times 25, we've got 75 gold. And unit replenishment, so Linear Spears lost 5 experience because they had to replace 1 loss. Neither of the other 2 actually had any losses. That's impressive. Well, we could even restore this unit without any experience loss. It's cheap. You know what? I'm going to do that. So basically that's like Ultimate General where you bring in veterans so you don't lose any experience in your unit. You've done me proud, son. This will feed our clan for the long nights ahead. Your winter supply secured, you return to the quiet life in your father's halls. A few weeks later, your father calls you to his side. We have a visitor tonight, son. Dunno Ravencloak is coming here. Dunno what he wants, but as many say, where the Black Bard goes, trouble follows, so we'd best not anger him. Treat him with respect, but keep your wits about you. A man, dressed in wide black cloak made of raven feathers, enters the hall carrying a long trumpet crowned with a boar's head. His face is hidden by his hood and his boots are frayed and muddy. Thank you for welcoming me to your stead. I won't trouble you for too long. I just want to rest my weary bones by the fire for a night. You are welcome to my house and hearth. Sit and eat with us. We don't have much, but what we have we will gladly share.
That is very kind of you, chieftain. I thank you for your offer. Oh, is that your son? It's been a decade since I last saw him. He looks like a fine warrior.
The bard's dark eyes peer directly into your soul.
Tell me, son of Falir, what do you seek in life?
So what do we seek in life? Glory in battle! I want to lead our clan to many victories, inspiring our warriors. A swift victory, I want to be the fastest warriors, laughing at all foes from afar. Or might in combat, I want to be the strongest warrior Caledonia has ever seen. So might in combat, I think, basically turns you into a better warrior. Swift victory probably makes you an archer. I haven't actually done either 2 or 3. Then glory in battle basically makes you a warlord, so you get bonuses to all the units around you, so you become like an officer. Did someone say ultimate general? I have been summoned, says C-Dubs. Hello. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards glory in battle. I do kind of like using this guy as a warlord, but I'm also really tempted to just make him a badass fighter. Although there is always the risk, if he dies, it's game over. I'm going to go with... I don't know. Swift victory could also be good. You know what, I'm going to go with the archer.
Is that so? Then let us ask the ancestors to make you fleet-footed and lead you to your destiny. Now, forgive me. I am weary after a day's walk and must rest.
What?
What have you done?
I felt a touch of cold freezing me to my bones.
Did you indeed? Must have been a draught of night air from the outside. I'll see you in the morning, Falir. Sleep well.
That's really loud. I'm going to turn that down in a minute. To expand your army, use the hiring screen to recruit new units. Hiring units requires gold and supply. If you want to hire while in a region, you also need a captured settlement where units can be deployed. You can also hire mercenaries who are cheaper and do not require supply, but only join temporarily. So we can pick up some more younglings or some more maidens. Maidens are a little bit more expensive and they will cost us a little bit of supply to recruit. We also have the ability to upgrade some of these. So we have 2 sets of weapons. So we could upgrade to spear maidens, which require 2 weapons. We can upgrade to javelin throwers, which require 1. We can upgrade to stag riders, which are light magic skirmish cavalry. Interesting. And we can click on them to see what's different. So the spear maidens are quite a lot tougher. There's actually less of them in the unit, which is a good thing because it means that you're less likely to suffer an actual casualty. They have way more armor. Armor goes from 3 to 5. And they have more morale. Plus they are tough, which means 15% less chance of losing a person. And they can fortify, which is basically kind of like the trenches where they can set up a little fortification where they're standing. What are the other options? The slingers could also upgrade, and they could upgrade to either trackers or wolf killers, although we don't actually have enough weapons for the wolf killers, so it'd have to be trackers. But I think it's going to be a better idea if we upgrade some of the lower level guys. I'm thinking maybe upgrade the Brotherhood of the Raven to... Oh no, we can't. We have no armor, so we can't make them into axemen. We could make them into berserkers. Unit moves through all difficult terrain with ease. Faster movement on water, deep water, rivers, swamps, and roughened forests. You can ambush, strikes out of hiding when an enemy enters an adjacent tile. The enemy is unable to retaliate. Highland charge. Can charge into difficult, rough forest terrain. Oh, that means they can basically always charge. Interesting. They are a slayer, deals more damage against heroes and large monsters. Plus 50% damage versus hero and large. And they are fearless. They cannot be broken or routed by morale and is immune to fear.